In the quiet hush of a midnight bedroom, the faint glow of a single lamp casts long shadows across the walls, and the air feels thick with unspoken weight. You sit there, hand trembling in the darkness, wondering why the vows you once celebrated feel like a contract written in ink that has begun to bleed. Have you ever felt that, beneath the surface of love and laughter, another force moves, an unseen current that pulls you in directions you never anticipated? The marriage you thought was a sanctuary is, in fact, a labyrinth of subtle power plays, each turn echoing a silent promise you never signed. Picture the first night you met your partner. The eyes, the laugh, the electric spark that seemed to say, "You belong here." Yet, as seasons changed, the spark dimmed into a steady, almost invisible flame that sometimes flickered, sometimes sputtered. What if that flame was not merely a symbol of affection, but a conduit for something older, something that has been woven into the fabric of human connection since time immemorial? The question isn't simply whether love can survive. It is whether the hidden currents that flow beneath it are acknowledged. When you look back at those early days, do you see a pattern of mutual give and take, or a subtle shift where one hand began to hold the reins? It is easy to attribute this to personality differences, but what if those differences are merely the surface manifestations of deeper, archetypal forces at work? Think of the stories your grandmother told, the myths that shaped your childhood, the images that haunt your dreams. Are you not, perhaps, living a living narrative that has been written by unseen authors, ancestors, society, the cosmos, who have carved their intentions into the very bones of your relationship? You may wonder why you continue to stay when the silence grows louder than the words spoken. Is it fear of the unknown, or the fear of the void that would appear if you left? The truth is, many of us are bound to the very patterns that once seemed like safety. We are drawn into a dance where one partner, knowingly or unknowingly, takes the lead while the other follows, not because of love's grace, but because of a deeper, unspoken contract that has been passed down through generations. It is a contract written not in legal ink, but in the quiet, unspoken agreements that form the foundation of every intimate bond. The darkness you feel is not merely a lack of light. It is the presence of a hidden power, a shadow that has been cast by the interplay of destiny and desire. In the spaces between your heartbeats, there is a resonance that speaks of a deeper truth, that every marriage is a mirror of the psyche, reflecting both the brightest joys and the darkest fears. This mirror does not simply show what is, it reveals what is yet to be understood. Imagine stepping into that mirror and seeing not just your reflection, but the echo of your own soul's longing, the echo of your partner's silent cries, and the echo of the world that has shaped both of you. How many times have you asked yourself, "What am I missing?" and found that the answer lies not in the external, but within the hidden currents that course beneath the surface? The journey you're about to embark on will peel back these layers, revealing the hidden power dynamics that have been at play all along. In this exploration, you will discover how the ancient patterns of archetypes and the unseen energies of destiny intertwine to create a tapestry of influence that shapes every conversation, every touch, every decision. You will learn that the power you feel in your marriage is not a simple matter of dominance or submission, but a complex dance of shadow and light, of conscious intention and unconscious pull. It is a dance that has been choreographed long before you met, and yet it is yours to rewrite. So, are you ready to look beyond the veil of the everyday and confront the hidden forces that govern your most intimate life? The path ahead will be shadowed, but it will also be illuminated by the knowledge that you hold the key to unlocking the mysteries that lie beneath. The time has come to listen to the silent whispers that echo through your heart, to recognize the unseen hands that guide your steps, and to step forward into a new understanding of the power dynamics that shape your marriage. Now, imagine that every decision you make within the walls of your home is not just a choice, but a transaction in a silent market. In this market, the currency is not money but emotional labor, the quiet, unrecouped effort of listening, of cleaning, of arranging. When one partner consistently supplies more of this currency, a subtle imbalance takes root, like a tree that leans toward the sun while the other remains shaded. How often have you felt that your own exhaustion is invisible to your spouse, yet you still answer the call of duty with a smile? This invisible economy is the first layer of hidden power, an unspoken hierarchy that shifts the balance without any formal agreement. Furthermore, the script you inherited from your family of origin is a script that writes itself into your marriage. Think of the stories your parents told about who should cook, who should pay, who should speak first. These narratives embed themselves into your subconscious as if they were carved into stone. When you unconsciously replicate them, you are not merely following tradition. You are reinforcing an ancient power structure that predates your relationship. In a marriage where one partner unconsciously assumes the role of the provider while the other takes on the caretaker, the power dynamic is not a choice, but a relic of generational conditioning. Conversely, consider the concept of emotional contagion, where feelings spread like a quiet storm across a small village. If one partner is habitually anxious, the other may absorb that tension without realizing it, becoming a vessel for worry. This contagion creates a ripple effect, subtly shifting authority as the anxious partner gains the power to dictate the pace of life, while the calmer partner feels compelled to acquiesce. The dynamic is invisible because it is woven into the emotional fabric of the couple, a thread that glows only when examined closely. Another crucial layer is the role of transference, where past relationships project onto the present. You may unknowingly treat your spouse as a stand-in for a parent, seeking approval or fearing rejection. In this scenario, the spouse becomes a mirror of unresolved childhood wounds, and the power shifts toward whoever can meet those unmet needs. If you find yourself constantly seeking validation from your partner, you are effectively handing them a key to your past, and the power they hold over your present is amplified. Building on this, the concept of intergenerational trauma can be likened to a slow-burning ember that feeds into the current flame of your relationship. Trauma that was never processed in one generation can manifest as controlling behavior, emotional withdrawal, or a compulsion for perfection in the next. When these patterns surface, they create a hidden battlefield where each partner battles for dominance over the inherited scars. The victor, often the one who has internalized the trauma, gains an unearned sense of authority, while the other feels powerless to change the script. Consequently, the presence of these hidden forces does not mean your marriage is doomed. It simply means the invisible hand is guiding the dance. By bringing these forces into the light, you can begin to negotiate a new contract, one that acknowledges the unpaid labor, the inherited scripts, and the emotional contagion. The first step is to name the currency. Openly discuss how each partner contributes to the emotional economy and recognize when one side feels overburdened. Then, set boundaries that honor both partners' needs, ensuring that neither feels compelled to play a role that no longer serves them. Now, consider how this applies when you face a moment of conflict. Instead of reacting with the default script of blame or withdrawal, pause and ask yourself, which of these hidden dynamics is at play? By identifying the invisible currency, the inherited narrative, or the emotional contagion, you can steer the conversation toward a shared understanding rather than a power struggle. This shift transforms the battlefield into a collaborative workshop where both partners can rebuild a balanced partnership. In the quiet aftermath of this revelation, the air feels different. The unseen weight lifts, and the path forward becomes clearer. You no longer walk alone in the darkness. You walk together, guided by the knowledge that the hidden forces are no longer hidden. The next step is to weave this awareness into daily life, turning the invisible economy into an open ledger of love and respect. As we stand on the cusp of the final revelation, the tapestry we have woven begins to glow with a subtle, almost imperceptible luminescence. The threads, each a strand of insight, each a quiet echo of the unseen forces that have shaped your shared journey, interlace in a pattern that is neither linear nor predictable. It is as if a quiet symphony is building its crescendo, where the notes you have heard so far are merely the prelude to a more profound harmony that will soon unfurl. Imagine the mind as a vast, ancient forest. Each tree represents a layer of understanding, the roots of subconscious patterns, the trunks of conscious decisions, and the canopy of shared experiences. The light that filters through the leaves has never been steady. It has flickered, dimmed, and brightened with the passing seasons of your relationship. Yet, as the wind shifts, it carries a new scent, a promise of clarity that has been gathering, patient and persistent, at the very edges of your awareness. Reflecting on this journey so far, you may feel a quiet stirring, a sense that the unseen currents you have felt are aligning into a single, potent stream. This stream does not rush. It meanders, carving its own path through the landscape of your partnership. The subtle pressure it exerts is no longer a force of imbalance, but a guiding current that can lead you toward a destination you once thought unreachable. In this moment, the shadows that have loomed over your days begin to soften. The darkness that once seemed impenetrable is now illuminated by the gentle glow of insight. As the night gives way to dawn, the horizon expands, revealing a vista where the once hidden dynamics are no longer shrouded in mystery. The horizon is not a final line, but a threshold, a doorway that invites you to step into a space where the past, present, and future converge in a single, resonant pulse. The path that lies ahead is not a straight line, but a series of interwoven roads, each branching into possibilities that were once invisible. The map you hold now is not a chart of destinations, but a guide to the terrain of your own psyche and the terrain of the others. Each turn you take will be guided by the subtle compass of self-awareness, pointing toward a balance that feels both authentic and empowering. As we pivot toward the final reflection, the weight of the questions you have asked yourself begins to settle into a quiet resolve. The curiosity that once seemed like a restless ache has transformed into a steady, purposeful flame. This flame is not a beacon that points outward, but a lantern that illuminates the space between you and your partner, between past and future, between the known and the unknowable. In the quiet of this transitional moment, you might sense that the hidden power dynamics that once felt like a silent war are now a silent dialogue. The dialogue is not about dominance or submission, but about mutual recognition of the invisible threads that bind and the freedom that can be found when those threads are acknowledged and honored. With each breath, the air around you feels charged with a new kind of electricity, one that does not frighten but invites. The tension that had once been a knot in your relationship is loosening, revealing a pattern of connection that is both intricate and elegant. The dance that had seemed choreographed by fate now feels like a choreography you are both co-creating, each step guided by intention rather than instinct. So, as you stand at this threshold, take a moment to feel the subtle shift in your own heart. The rhythm of your pulse is no longer a mere beat. It is a drumbeat that syncs with the rhythm of the space you share. It is here, in this suspended moment, that the final piece of the puzzle will fall into place, not as a revelation, but as a continuation of the journey you have already begun. In the quiet aftermath of our exploration, the darkness that once seemed impenetrable dissolves into a gentle, luminous hush. The shadows that once whispered of hidden power are now part of a larger, more resonant symphony, an unseen orchestra that plays beneath the surface of every shared breath. What we have uncovered is not a revelation that will forever alter the course of your relationship in a single moment, but a seed planted deep within the soil of your mutual psyche, ready to sprout whenever the light of awareness touches it. The true practice begins now, as you carry this awareness into the ordinary rituals of love, the ordinary moments that, when seen anew, reveal the subtle choreography of give and take, of vulnerability and strength. This journey has shown that every partnership is a living myth, a narrative in which each of us writes our own chapters while also echoing the ancient stories that have shaped us. The hidden power dynamics are not static forces, but living currents that shift with intention and understanding. By naming the currency of emotional labor, acknowledging the inherited scripts, and recognizing the silent contagions that flow between us, we begin to rewrite the contract that governs us. We learn that the true power lies not in domination or submission, but in the conscious choice to honor each other's shadows and to invite light into the spaces where fear once reigned. Imagine now, as you step forward into the next chapter of your partnership, that each act of listening becomes a deliberate stroke of paint on a shared canvas. Each apology, each affirmation, each quiet moment of presence is a brushstroke that brings color to the portrait of your relationship. The hidden dynamics that once seemed like invisible hands are now visible guides, not shackles. They remind us that the strength of a marriage is not measured in the loudness of its arguments, but in the quiet courage to confront the unseen, to feel the weight of the past, and to choose, again and again, to walk together through the unknown. The insight that emerges from this tapestry of psychological depth and mystical nuance is simple yet profound. The most potent force in any union is the mutual recognition of each other's humanity. When you see the other not as a vessel to fill a void, but as a co-creator of a shared destiny, the hidden currents transform from oppressive to liberating. The dance of power becomes a dance of partnership, where each step is a dialogue, each pause a shared breath. In that space, the ancient archetypes that once dictated our behavior are no longer tyrants, but teachers, offering lessons in humility, courage, and compassion. So, as you leave this conversation, let the quiet stillness of your heart be the compass that guides your next move. Let the knowledge that you're not alone in navigating the unseen currents be a balm for the restless soul. The world around you will continue to spin, but within the sanctuary of your shared space, you have the power to pause, to reflect, and to choose a new rhythm. This is not an end, but a beginning, a continuous, living practice of seeing, listening, and loving with an awareness that transcends the ordinary. May the whisper of the hidden forces in your marriage become a quiet chant of growth, a reminder that the most profound transformations happen when we dare to look inward and reach outward at the same time. The journey toward a more conscious, balanced partnership is an ongoing pilgrimage, one that requires patience, curiosity, and an unwavering commitment to the truth of your shared humanity. As you walk this path, remember that each step, no matter how small, is a testament to the resilience of love when it is anchored in truth and guided by the light of mutual understanding.